And just like that, the next episode has begun. Welcome back to Ace Attorney, Trials and Tribulations. I'm your host, MegaShadowFist. I suck at video games, I suck at commentary, and I suck at enunciating, apparently. We last left off. We presented some evidence that proved a contradiction in Miss Maya Faye's testimony, so now it's going to continue. Are you saying Miss Faye saw the real killer under pitch black conditions? Trite. Do you have any idea what you're proposing? How could she have seen it in the dark? There was no other light source at the scene. There are some things that you can only see in the dark, Mr. Godot. Maya, you did see who the real killer- you did see who the killer was in the dark. And now, you're trying to cover for him. Cover! For the man that killed her mother! There's only one conclusion that I can draw from this. You know who this man is. Please, Nick! I feel like this is going to be the biggest plot twist in the world, and I have an idea in my head, but that would just be so crazy that there's no way that's possible. I don't know anything. Please, I'm begging you. Ha! You talked a good game, Trite, but let's see if you can walk the walk. It was pitch black, so what could the witness see? I'm calling your bluff. Okay, let's go ahead and save. Oh yeah, I forgot not to... Okay. Anyway, continue. From save point. I'm calling your bluff. No, Nick, don't! Please, stop! Maya is dead set on protecting this guy. The man who murdered Maya's long-lost mother. But I can't let him get away with it. I'm a lawyer, an officer of the court. I'm here to find the truth. Alright, Mr. Wright, time to show us what you've got. Now it's time to save. One thing I noticed from actually watching my friend Kratos' playthrough of the first game is that starting in the second game, whenever they asked you to present evidence, the text changes green, but in the first game, it was just plain white. Who was the person that you say Miss Faye saw in the darkness? Okay, so here are our options here. Make sure that we don't have, Okay, so we have Maya Faye, we have Mia Faye, we have Pearl Faye, we have Godot, we have Gumshoe. Okay, so they all have to be men. Edgeworth was out of Edgeworth is out of there. Oh, Larry? I don't see how. So then it's either Godot or Dick Gumshoe. I don't see how Godot was. Godot couldn't have... No. But... Ooh, man. I am going to get this wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Because, it could not have been Edgeworth, because he was... I don't see why she'd be trying so hard to protect Godot, though. Gumshoe was off doing whatever, so I don't think it's those two. So it had to be, by process of elimination, either Edgeworth or... None of this makes sense! Who was the person that you say Miss Faye saw in the darkness? But... None of these make sense! None of them make sense! Larry is the only person who was there, but Larry doesn't seem like the type of person who would stab somebody. It couldn't have been Edgeworth. But maybe it was Godot. But, because, he would have a grudge against Dahlia Hawthorne, but I don't think he was there, so... Okay, I wanted to present something. We're just going to present all four of them, starting with Godot. Because it was pitch black, Miss Faye was able to recognize the killer easily. I'm sure the court would like to see for itself how this is possible, yes? What? But how do you propose to show us something like that? You can see, you can see Godot when it's pitch black, because of his red stuff. We've seen that before. It's easy. We just need to recreate the conditions of that night. Conditions? Your Honor, the defense officially requests that all the lights in this courtroom be turned off. What? This is But it can't be! Ha! That was a nice bit of deduction. Trite. Well, everyone? This is the man Maya saw on the night of the murder. Order! Prosecutor Goda, what is the meaning of this? Surely you must be shocked to hear yourself accused of such a thing. Why aren't you denying it? Ha! Your Honor, you're asking the wrong person. What do you mean by that? If you got a question, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. Well, Maya, how about it? What you saw that night, was it 3 glowing red lights? Well, witness, answer the question. You're wrong! I never saw that! Maya! I thought the person that stabbed my mother was a man! For a totally different reason! What?! Witness! Mr. Wright! What the— Stop your chattering, Your Honor. Chattering?! If it's worth asking, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. Alright. Well then, let's continue with the testimony. Please tell us how you knew the killer was a man. Yes, Your Honor. I didn't realize it until after I woke up, but... Witness testimony, the killer. When I came to, I was just lying there on the training hall floor. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. The torches were lit, and the body was gone. And all the snow around the stone lantern had been carefully cleaned up, too. Since the person did all that work alone, I just assumed it was a man. Huh. Interesting line of thought there. So it was after the crime took place that the witness came to think the killer was a man. Yes, that's right. I'm sorry, Your Honor, No need to apologize. It's as Mr. Godot said, you're utterly exhausted. It's only natural that you would be a little confused. Also, if you consider the situation you described, it doesn't seem too much of a stretch to assume the criminal was a man. Mr. Wright, proceed with your cross-examination. Well, I don't know, I mean, you know, like, Wendy Oldbag was capable of pinning her, like, her father in, like, 2 seconds flat, right? And, you know, a lot of hearts said that she's wrestled things, meaner than Phoenix, and the Phoenix is strong, man, breaking through the Kudine channeling, the Kudine, village door, so, and Von Karma, I mean, she's just whip happy, but still, there are cases. When I came to, I was just lying there on the training hall floor. So you lost consciousness when you were in the garden, is that right? Yes, I think it happened when the victim was stabbed. So the person that carried you into the inner temple, it could only have been the killer. That's what I think, too. So the killer carried Maya into the inner temple. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. Naturally, the killer must have done it, right? Yes, I think so. But why would the killer tamper with the crime scene like that? There must have been something that the killer desperately wanted to hide. I don't know. It looks like she doesn't have enough confidence. I think I need to gather some more information before I ask her again. We're gonna have to press something twice again? I hope not. The torches were lit and the body was gone. The torches were lit? Yes, that's how I noticed that the whole scene had changed. I'm going to say it was the killer who lit the torches. I mean, who else could it be? The killer probably lit them since it'd be impossible to do any cover-up work in the dark. However, if that's true, there's only one thing that still bothers me. Why did the killer go to the effort of moving the body? That's true. It's hard to see how that would be of any advantage to the killer. The only one who would gain anything from that would be the only person that was at the inner temple, Maya. Very well. Let me hear some more about the condition of the crime scene. And all of the snow around the stone lantern have been carefully cleaned up too. So you're saying the killer cleaned up the snow? It did look really odd. The snow was removed in an unnatural-looking rectangular shape around the lantern. There were a lot of shovels around the inner temple, but they're all really heavy, way too heavy for me to use. What are those shovels made out of? An old fellow indeed, this killer. An odd fellow. Why on earth would anyone want to take snow away? Well, there's one thing I can think of. Didn't you say that a lot of the victims' blood sprayed onto the snow? Yeah! The area collapsed and ended up being splattered. In other words, the killer's purpose was to hide the bloody snow. I think that's the most reasonable explanation. Perhaps. However, there's something that's bothering me. If the killer just wanted to hide the snow with blood on it, there was no need to remove that amount. That's true. He could have scooped up just the snow that stained the... That's true. He could have just scooped up the snow that was stained with the blood. It looks like there are some mysteries behind this issue. But I think this will help explain everything. Explain them. Why am I just being so bad at reading right now? As the person that did all that work alone, I just assumed it was a man. So, you're saying that you never saw the killer, right? Yes! But earlier, you very clearly stated that you saw a man behind your attacker. Nick, I'm sorry. The killer certainly went through a lot of trouble. Moving the body by pendulum, manipulating the crime scene. But for what purpose? Why do all that? Maybe Maya knows more than she's letting on. When I came to, I was just lying on the floor. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. Was this the one... We can't skip past, so we have to press this twice. I knew it! Naturally, the killer must have done it, right? Yes, I think so. But why would the killer tamper with the crime scene like that? Because, like, I'm hitting the fast forward button and nothing's happening, so... There must have been something that the killer desperately wanted to hide. The truth is, when I saw the crime scene, I felt something. You did? Yes. I felt like the killer was hiding the evidence for me, for my sake. What? Hiding it for you? Everyone knew that I was the only one at the inner temple that night. If Sister Makini had come back and looked at the garden, she may have thought that you had done it. No, she definitely would have thought so. And you're saying that's why the killer cleaned up the crime scene to make it look like nothing had happened? Yes, I'm sure of it. Well, that's certainly an important piece of information. I want you to add that to your testimony. Yes, Your Honor. I think it was for my sake that the killer cleaned up the evidence of what happened. Let's save first. Alrighty then. Saving, do not turn power off, suspending game. Continue. From save point. What happened? I think it was for my sake that the killer cleaned up the evidence of what happened. They did it for your sake. Well, if the blood hadn't been removed, I would have immediately been the prime suspect, right? Yes, I suppose that's true. Yeah, and if that happened, the body would have caused some other problems too. If her real identity had come out right then, it would have been terrible. Master of Kunai killed by own daughter. I don't think Maya would have been able to handle it. But still, it's rather difficult to fathom the killer's motives. What reason is there to go through that much trouble to protect you? They just were lit and the body was gone. I think it was from my sake that the killer cleaned up the evidence of what happened. Okay, let's look at everything. Attorney's badge, it's my all-important badge. Magatama, the occult magazine. Shows us stuck at a temple in the surrounding area. Yeah, what is that gonna do for me? Misty Phase image. Photo of Elise. Yeah, there's that. Where was this taken, by the way? I've always been curious about that, because there seems to be like a castle in the background. Iris's hood. Weather data. She just had the victim's blood and the suspect's fingerprints on it, but is not the murder weapon. The sword hidden inside the actual weapon used to murder the victim. Caused loss of blood from stabbing back. Body fell 10 feet after death. Let me look at this. Caught lots of blood. Stabbed. Fell 10 feet after death. Shaq's photo after the snow. Courtyard. Oh, that's a crime photo. Yeah, that's not going to do anything for us. Horrible sketch of what he saw the night crime. I wonder, did they flip it? No, they didn't flip it. Interesting. Found has blood on it. Worn by Elise Johnny found in the garden of the inner temple. I wonder if this would work. Because this was still very clearly there. Nope, okay. The witness statement is clearly faulty, Your Honor. I'm sorry, but I can see nothing faulty. Unfortunately, I will have to penalize you, Mr. Wright. Alright, so we got our guilty verdict. Wah, 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 wah. Known for misinterpretation of the facts, this court finds the defendant, Iris of Hazakura Temple, guilty! The accused will surrender to the court immediately. You say the same exact thing every time since the very first game. We get it, Judge. I've seen it, the same exact thing in every case, with the exception of the first case of this game. Be clean to the evidence of what happened. Okay, so I was still there, but orders from Morgan Fay. Found stuck. Should we use this though? The dagger? Because the dagger was still very much there too. Dusky Bridge photo. That's not gonna do anything for us. And the stone lantern. And the stone lantern still had the word Maya written on it too. So let's try the dagger then. No. Maybe I'm looking at this from the wrong angle. Your Honor, what do you think about the witness's statement? I'm not sure I follow you. It clearly contradicts the, I thought... You don't sound very sure, Mr. Wright. Objection overruled. Because, like, they did a very sloppy job cleaning things up there. They left Elise's whatchamacallit there. They left the dagger. There's the word the name Maya was written on there in blood. Maybe I should present the stone lantern again and see if that works. If not, then I'm gonna have to look at this from a completely different angle. Higher court within a month from today's date. That is all. The court is adjourned. Alright, continue. From save point. Let's try it. I don't think it very specifically says it has the name Maya written on it. So I don't think this is going to be the right evidence, but... It worked! Yes! Awkward posse! Nope, not yet. Not yet. That would be a minute too early. Dang it, that would have been the perfect place to end things off, too. Oh, well. The body of Elise Donium was carried all the way to Hazakura Temple's courtyard. At the garden, the real scene of the crime, the snow that was suspected was covered in blood was scooped up and removed. It's reasonable to believe all this was done in an attempt to hide the true crime scene. However, there's still one matter that still seems somewhat odd. Oh, and what would that be? You must have figured it out by now. Mr. Godot. It's the message written in blood on the lantern. Wah, wah, wah! It was written very clearly on the white stone lantern. Maya. Ah! If the killer was so motivated to protect Maya from suspicion... There we go! Then why didn't he wipe the writing off the lantern? I wanted to end things off with music playing in the background. We didn't have any ambient noise for, like, the awkward pause. Anyway, awkward pause!